Hey there folks, today I'm going to be showing you some of the essential tools that you will require if you're considering doing DIY automotive maintenance. Now if you're looking to work on your own vehicle and you don't want to take it to a mechanic anymore, you'll need to start building up your collection. You don't have to do it all at once, you can do it slowly as you do each job. You can research the job and what tools are required, but it's good to have a lot of these on hand. So there's a few more that aren't on the table here that I will walk you through. This is just a start. And keep in mind, this is going to depend on what type of vehicle you're working on. The tools might vary just a little bit. And this is purely my opinion, what has worked for me so far. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to clear the table and we're going to walk you through each set of tools. All right, so the most important bit of kit that you can get when working on your own vehicle are a decent floor jack, jack stands, and wheel chocks. Now I have these all-in-one jack stands which incorporate a bottle jack into the jack stand. You don't need something this intense. I just have these because I've been doing this a while and I like the convenience and it works well for my application. You can just get traditional jack stands and often you can get them in combination with the floor jack from your hardware store or your auto parts store. Now the first most important thing you need to know when purchasing these items is the capacity rating. So what you want to do is make sure the capacity of the jack is heavier than the vehicle you're lifting. So you simply want to Google the curb weight of the vehicles that you plan on lifting. And my personal preference, I like to go 1 ton heavier than the vehicle you plan on lifting. So I have a 2-ton vehicle. So I went with a 3-ton jack. That gives me peace of mind, that extra 1 ton. It has all the capacity it needs. Also, the heavier the capacity, the easier it is for the jack to lift it. This just happens to be 4 ton. That's all that was available, which is double what I need, which is perfect. So then when I'm under the vehicle and it's up on these stands, I am completely safe and I have peace of mind while I'm under it. And obviously you need, like I said, some wheel chocks. These will prevent your vehicle from rolling away when you have it jacked up because it's going to be at an angle. Now keep in mind when you buy them, even if you're buying brand new, take a look at the expiry because they might be old on the shelf. They do require to be replaced because they may crack with age and become defective. So now that we've covered the safety portion, let's move on to the next set. All right, so you won't get much work done on any vehicle without ratchets, sockets, wrenches, and pliers. So I have my Craftsman set I bought about 17 years ago. Has a great variety as well as a wide range of sizes. We have our wrenches here that range from 1/4 inch all the way to 7/8. We have our 2 spark plug sockets over here. We have deep well sockets ranging from 3/16 to 3/4. We have shallow sockets ranging from 4mm going around to 32mm. And also 5/32 going around all the way to 1 1/4. We have 1/4 inch drive, 3/8 and 1/2 inch drive ratchets with their corresponding extensions and swivels. We have a screwdriver with an adapter to fit on 1/4 inch drive sockets. So that is a wide variety. I've been using it on a lot of vehicles I've owned as well as around the house. Over here we have a couple breaker bars and they have swivel heads for more range of motion. I have a 12 inch 3/8 drive breaker bar, which you can see is a little bit longer than the ratchet. It's good for breaking things free so you don't break the teeth if you need to give it a smack to break a bolt free. Over here for the bigger bolts such as lug nuts or suspension bolts or brakes, we have our 1/2 inch drive. This is 17 inches long, which as you can see in comparison to the ratchet, it is twice as long. You can put this on your lug nuts, you can step on it, you can smack it if you want, you can hit it with a hammer. It doesn't have teeth like a ratchet does, so it won't break like that will with extreme force. We have our torque wrench, just a 1/2 inch drive. There's a couple different ones you can get. You can get 1/4 inch drive and 3/8, but you won't need those unless you're doing work on the engine and a lot more complex components. The 1/2 inch drive is for bigger stuff. This ranges from 20 foot-pounds to 150 foot-pounds, which is going to cover you for suspension, brakes, lug nuts, and all that. So it's important you get one of those to make sure, because everything that you take off bolt-wise will have a torque specification when you put it back on. We have needle nose pliers, adjustable wrench, plumbing pliers, or channel locks rather, they're called. And we have a few different sizes of vice grips for clamping on stuff. And my Craftsman kit didn't come with metric wrenches. So as I do a job, once I need to replace something, I just look up what size I need. And I have a local surplus store that I go down to, and they're only a few bucks per wrench. So as I need them, I go purchase them and then just add them to my kit. So that's all for hand tools in the way of wrenches, ratchets, and sockets and all that. So on to the next. All right, so next, if you're doing an oil change, you're going to need a drain bucket. I like this jug style one. You open up this side cap here and then drain it onto here and it pours into there. You wipe it all down. It's got a storage here to drain your filter, and you can put your drain bolt there so you don't lose it. And it all closes up, wipes down nice and easy, and it has a cap here that you can open up and pour into whatever vessel for safe disposal. You need a funnel for filling new oil. Then over here we have a few different options for oil filter wrenches. We have the most generic one for these canister style filters. It is adjustable, so it makes it usable for very different sizes. And you would simply locate your filter, clamp it on, and then twist it off. And then you also have this cap style wrench. You'd put your ratchet on the end of it here, and same idea. This is a bit bigger than this filter, but you would put it on the end. It'd be nice and snug, and then you use your ratchet to twist that off. And you also have, this one is for a Toyota, and it is for similar to the canister style, but their canisters are reusable. So it all depends on the vehicle you have that you're working on. I also have an example here. This is from a Chevy Equinox. GM uses these cartridge paper filters, and you put the plastic cap back on. And if you look at the top, it has a 32 mil hex on it, so it all depends. Now, another thing that you would need are a small set of picks. I actually got this for $4 at the dollar store, which is pretty good. You got a couple different angles on it, so you can use this. These are good for getting any kind of O-rings off here. So if you wanted to get the O-ring off of your filter housing here, it pulls off nice and easy. And it's for any O-rings, not just oil change O-rings. Then, a lot of people make fun of people online, but I like to also wear gloves. Some people say you're not a real mechanic if you wear gloves. That's not true. Some of us like to stay clean. And you can also wear these as well if you're working under the car. These aren't for oil change, but if you, on the topic of gloves, if you don't want to smack your knuckles off stuff, it gives you a little protection. So now, on to the next set of tools. All right, so next we're going to knock out a variety of tools all at once here. So first we have a C-clamp. This is good for pushing your caliper piston back in after doing a brake job. We have a few different hammers here. We have a small ball peen hammer, which is good for doing light hammering or getting dents out and doing body work. We have a larger hammer, which is good for hitting stubborn components, bolts, other things that are rusted or seized on, and you need a lot of power behind it to knock it out. We also have a 3-pound rubber dead blow mallet here for if you need to get something off and you need to hit it, but you are going to be putting that part back on and you don't want it to be damaged. We have a pry bar here. It is a nice long one for extra leverage, and it also has this strikeable plate so it won't shatter your handle while you're hitting it. We have some screwdriver bits here that go with your drill, impact driver, or just your screwdriver for getting off hose clamps, body panels, all that kind of stuff. We have a brass brush, a steel brush for brushing down rusted bolts, components such as brakes, all that kind of stuff. We have chisels and punches to go along with your hammers to knock bolts out and other things out of components that may be rusted on. We have a test light. You would hook the alligator clamp to the ground, and you can test your fuses, for example, by poking the needle onto the fuse, and there's a little light in here that illuminates to tell you if it has power to it. And over here you got just a flashlight. It's got a magnet on the end of it as well, which is good for picking up bolts, but also just simply a flashlight for seeing in dark spaces. We have a panel popper, which is good for taking plastic rivets out. Plastic rivets hold on a lot of body panels on modern cars. You also have multi-functional wire stripper and cutter, and this is going to automatically strip your wire. You'd put your wire in, clamp it down, and it strips it. It's got the cutters, crimpers, all that if you're doing any electrical work, adding audio components, all that kind of stuff that you need wiring. And over here we have a variety of plastic panel popping tools if you're taking off door panels or any body panels that are plastic or painted and you don't want to use the metal one and you want to protect the paint or plastic. Those are good as well. So now on to the next bit of kit. All right, next we have a battery and alternator tester. This is a fairly cheap tool and it'll test if the vehicle is off and you want to check how the battery is holding a charge overnight or after a long period of time not running the engine. The top portion here, if the vehicle is running, it'll test how well the alternator is charging, if it's under or overcharging or working properly. Then we have a digital multimeter over here. I saved this towards the end because not everyone is comfortable with electrical and you may not need it, but if you consider later on learning more about your vehicle and doing any electrical work with adding accessories such as lighting or speakers, or if you're just checking wiring because something has shorted out and stopped working, this is a good bit of kit to have. All right, so lastly we have our OBD Scan Tool, which is important for diagnosing check engine lights and dashboard warning lights. Now this one in particular is very advanced. You don't need something this extreme if you're just starting out on working on your car. I will put a link in the description for King Bullen. This is the company that sent me this particular unit. I've been using it for a while and this is just very good for my application. However, King Bullen does offer very beginner level, affordable scan tools all the way up to professional grade, expensive mechanic diagnostic tools as well. So most important thing, no matter which one you're looking at, is you want to have something that can scan all the modules in your car. There are a lot of very cheap ones out there that will only scan the engine module. So for example, if you have a wheel speed sensor that is faulty and your ABS light comes on and your traction control warning light comes on, a cheap scan tool that can only scan the engine module will not pick that up and you'll be running in circles trying to figure it out. You want something that can scan all modules so that you can scan the body control module, which would pick that wheel speed sensor up. Now the other thing is, this one in particular, there are other ones that are more entry level, but they're bi-directional. If you want something that is capable of communicating with the vehicle, for example, this one is bi-directional, I can activate the component that I'm looking at and see if it's going to be working and see if it's faulty. So if it's not bi-directional, you won't be able to do that. And this one in particular also has all these resets, so like oil life reset, all that, ABS bleeding, battery reset, injector resetting, all that kind of stuff. So it all depends on your specific application. So again, their link is in the description. Take a look at what they got, entry level all the way to advanced. Definitely need a scan tool of some kind. So hopefully you found this video helpful. And if I missed anything, I do apologize. Feel free to share in your own experience what tools I missed and that you think would also be good to have for beginner mechanics. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.